Looking at pain as a pathway, pain can be an incredible pathway to living an extraordinary life if it's used correctly with the right mindset. You just have to embrace it. So, a lot of people, when they're going through adversity or pain, they don't want to fully experience it. They want to put it off, they want to avoid it. But what you suggest and what you recommend is people to challenge that perspective, right? And fully experience your pain and emotions, fully process them because you're going to come out stronger on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some varying nuances there to what I share in the book about suffering practices, to using pain as a pathway to embracing. Obviously, you want to be sensitive to people's different situations. I mean, we're not talking about things that are just unimaginable, like the loss of a child or loved one, and other things like that. Those are, and those things are quite common, unfortunately. But so you can still apply these same philosophies to just in slightly different ways. So don't want to sound insensitive to people who are going through just the most unimaginable sadness and depression for things like that. But when you look at it too, a lot of us, and this goes back to questions I get asked about, you know, the difference between the people who are successful in the early stages of SEAL training and who are unsuccessful. And really, it's easier to talk about the people who are successful and why they are, because there's all different reasons, a different emotional and physical journey for every student, and with almost a 90% all said and done 90% failure rate, there's all different types of reasons and how well they prepared or didn't prepare. But in those moments, people who have suffered the most, in this world, have typically, and this is just my opinion. Obviously, people know this, and there's a lot of research that come out typically stronger, more self-aware, more empathetic to others. They engage in greater degrees of altruism and giving back. And the most resilient people will use their suffering and experiences to lift others up. You see that in SEAL training too, where sometimes the people who are suffering the most, the small guy who doesn't look like he would make it, and he's shivering his butt off so bad his teeth are chattering and cracking, but yet somehow it's that person that gets up and stands tall once again, not for himself, but to pick up the person to his left and the person to his right, making that suffering about them, not about oneself. And so shifting that mindset, that narrative in your way of thinking to, thinking about we're all suffering together. So let's find ways to lift one another up in that regard. And when it comes to your point around some of the suffering practices that I talk about in the book, one is to really lean into it and experience those emotions in full. Analyze it, get therapy, have a trusted advisor, a coach, a mentor, a spouse, whoever that person is, a person or persons where you can be fully open, fully transparent, and feel those emotions all the way through. And we all know that bottling these things up, and men tend to be good at this, not to, put, a sexist approach to this, but men tend to be really good at putting stuff in boxes, and we stuff those boxes way down. I have a real good knack for that. But the people who heal faster and then are able to see the world through a different and better lens, usually unpack those boxes a lot faster. They analyze the content of those boxes, and they're able to come to some sort of resolution through whatever their version of a root cause analysis is, and applying those insights into the situation and what they can learn from that, or how they're going to take that and apply that to regaining their happiness, rebuilding relationships, whatever that scenario might be, but finding ways faster than others and more successfully than others in utilizing the pain and adversity to build something great and purpose driven.